Yes, this is Ray Bradbury. It's a pleasure to burn.
Hey, now, be nice.
It's a pleasure to burn.
Hey, I volunteer at the door as a close personal friend of Ray's.
Well, I'm saying a nice thing. What's wrong with that?
You've already offended them.
Sorry, volunteer at the door. I can't help it if Ray Bradbury is, if I'm channeling Ray Bradbury.
Hey, I found Waldo.
And by the way, Gene Roddenberry is channeling me now. Anyway, is that a good enough test? Now that I've pissed off about 9/10 of our huge audience? Sorry, my name is Stan Lee. So Lloyd Kaufman is a nice guy.
Nice save, nice save.
Sorry.
6? Try 6? I think that's
Hey, Taxi, that's
Taxi,
you.
say something. Go close to the mic.
Hello.
Why did you
Oh my God, it's legendary Mr. Waldo in the building, everybody. He's not very hard to find in a sea of nobody.
This is the best.
But you were, I'm glad everybody's here.
Yeah, I don't think my guy sucked.
Okay, I'm somebody.
Am I supposed to use this?
Troma.
I don't know.
It's about 5 minutes to 3.
We can do it 50 people per minute.
I don't think he gets hurt rushing through the door. That's my main concern.
That looks great.
What? Godzilla.
I'm gonna go kick. Where is he? I'm gonna kick his ass.
This is like the running of the bulls, but much, much slower.
It's more like running of the balls. There's no women on this panel. What kind of festival is this?
very
We have
sexy
gynos here. Yeah, a bunch of
We didn't have any entries from female.
You had a rear entry. You had it last night.
I came straight from Trinidad, Colorado, so you don't know this, Lloyd. I came from Trinidad, Colorado, so I've dropped off my balls. I am no longer a man.
Well, I'm married. I did that a long time ago. Anyway, Taxi's here. Taxi!
There is.
Toxie hasn't been working. It's not been a while since the last Toxic Avenger movie, so he's not quite himself. But they're remaking him out in L.A., so he'll get back into the Troma gym. This is the bulimic Toxic.
Yeah.
And here he is himself, Mr. Curly Tapaloya.
Curly.
Careful, don't step back. There's a big gap there. This is the 9th year of Troma Dance, New Mexico. Big hand for Curly.
Amazing.
Ready to go?
I think this is as good as it
Tons
gets.
of people out there waiting to get it.
Come on in. We don't bite.
By the way, there's Stan Lee's, the movie with Stan Lee's greatest performance is playing in town now over at the Guild, Enter the Dragon.
Stan Lee, very famous Chinese filmmaker.
He also taught his famous backward crescent kick to his son Christopher Lee. Still don't get it.
In my film,
I'm not going to use that joke.
Adam the Amazing Zombie Killer is starring one of the most legendary filmmakers I know anyway, Mr. Lloyd Kaufman. And that's playing Sunday at Troma Dance, New Mexico. Who's playing cricket noises? What the fuck is that about?
What time is it playing?
All right.
Okay, Stan Lee, does that get cricket noises?
What time is your movie playing?
Stan Lee gets cricket noises. Adam the Amazing Zombie Killer plays Troma Dance, New Mexico, 1 o'clock.
We're going to go ahead and get this thing started.
Well, anyway, let's not jump into it.
All right. Thank you guys for coming. My name is Curly Tlapoyava.
Yeah!
From Troma Dance, New Mexico.
Yay!
Star of movies like Gimme Skelter, and Sneak the Flesh, and Slumber Party Slaughterhouse. I just did stunts on the new Arnold Schwarzenegger movie where I doubled Luis Guzman, who's kind of a dick. So if you have any questions about that,
By the way,
feel free to ask me.
the volunteer at the door is a friend of Luis Guzman. Take that
Yes.
back. Outrage. How dare
But
you.
we are here with the fine young filmmakers for this year's Troma Dance New Mexico.
Yes.
Starting here on this side, we have the Toxic Avenger, ladies and gentlemen. Sitting next to Toxie, of course, is the one and only Roger No, that's Lloyd Kaufman! And we're going to be screening the one of the latest Troma movies, Mr. Bricks, or possibly The Taint. We're having an argument about which one we should show.
Well, Mr. Bricks is great. It's a heavy metal murder musical. Lemmy gave us music, and you know, it's on your schedule. May as well go with that. But The Taint is also something to look at.
What?
I don't want to be looking at
Phrasing, Lloyd. Phrasing. And next to Lloyd, we have the one and only, straight from Colorado, Richard Taylor.
Thank you.
He's here with his film.
Atom, the Amazing Zombie Killer.
All right.
Yes. Amazing.
And, to my left.
May I just interrupt for a second? I apologize because Richard is a protege of mine.
Oh, yes.
But Richard's significant other, Zach Beans, is right here.
That's right, Zach Mines, everybody. Don't forget Zach Mines. He's filming.
There would be no Richard without Zach.
And there'd be no Adam the Amazing Zombie Killer. And there'd be no...
Vice versa, vice versa. He's the Michael Hers of Tromaville. I mean, Zach is the Michael Hers of Richard.
All right. And to my left, we've got Charles Vic Duncan. Not one, but two amazing films screening at Troma Dance New Mexico. And those are...
Nazi Apocalypse and Scum Quixote.
Wow, wow, wow.
And...
Give him a big howl.
We've got Mike Emanuel, who's going to be showing the amazing film Scary or Die. And next to him we have the one and only local boy, made good, Tim McClellan, with his film
Fugue State.
Fugue State.
Huge state. Yeah.
And when does that show, Curly?
Does anybody have a schedule when any of these movies show?
The schedule is on the Troma
Atom, the Amazing
Dance.
Zombie Killer, Sunday at 1 o'clock. That's all I know.
The
And
entire,
Killer, no. I have no idea.
Yeah.
the entire schedule is on the tromadance.com website. Of
And if you've got one of the program guides,
Where do you get program guides? Because there don't seem to be any. Curly, where do you get them?
I don't know.
I haven't seen one yet.
I don't even know what they look like.
No, we don't have swag
He
bags.
gave us no, we're swagless and bagless. So,
Ballless. I told you my Trinidad story, remember?
Where did you get your program, madam, with the turquoise heliotrope wig? Where did you get your program?
Miss Blue Hair. I think that's you. Are you talking to the
Where
blue
did you
hair?
get that program?
I had to demand it from them.
You demanded.
so go demand your program guides and you'll be able to find all of the information. And if you're over 21, tonight, 9 o'clock, Blackbird Bouvet Troma Dance Party. It's the funky dance party at the Blackbird Bouvet starting at 9 p.m. So please be sure to join us for that. Well, first up, before
It'll be a sausage fest.
we're going to have Lloyd talk about
Where is
Mr.
it? Sorry, somebody was talking. Where is the Troma Dance Party?
It's at the Blackbird Bouvet, which is downtown.
It's 5th and Central.
5th and Central, so please show up.
5th
And,
and Central
before we
tomorrow
have,
at 9 o'clock.
Yes. So before we, no, that's tonight. Tonight at 9
Tonight, sorry,
Yeah.
tonight at 9 o'clock, 5th and Central.
Come meet a senile old man.
Sorry.
And his morbidly grotesque
The
creation.
place is called the Grey Poupon. What is it called?
Look at this.
That one.
So we're kicking off the screenings tomorrow at 11 with Mr. Bricks. Do we have the trailer for Mr. Bricks, please? I know it's out of order now, but...
Mr. Bricks.
Mr. Bricks. What can you tell us about Mr. Bricks, Lloyd?
Was made by a beautiful young boy named Travis Campbell, who is a very fine editor. It is a heavy metal murder musical. I had nothing to do with it, so it's good. And Lemmy Kilmeister, who plays for a little group called Motorhead, did some of the music. It's very dark. It's a serious movie. It had its world premiere at the Sitges International Film Festival, which is the most prestigious of the fantasy film festivals. Mr. Briggs is not your typical troma movie. Troma movies are usually sort of like Richard here, kind of overly intellectual. Mr. Briggs is more in the, if you've seen Combat Shock, if you've seen Combat Shock, you'll know, you can sort of get a sense of what Mr. Briggs will be like.
Cool, so let's play the trailer.
Oh, wow.
Amazing so far.
They know your name. They're coming for you. Lucky for me, I'm going by Bricks these days. I woke up this morning with a bullet hole in my fucking skull. And all I got to remember my girl, and a few memories floating in and out. But I got a lead on the dead man who took her.
He is dead. You did your job, you protected your partner, it's over. What's the news?
He's alive.
You want me dead? Come get me.
He's a dangerous man, Miss Kent. He doesn't care about anybody or you.
I don't need you. You fucked up. He's still out there.
Let me take care of this.
Just like movies, that gunslinger, you do. Know you're fast, quick drug, I'm gonna make you hit. On to shoot, Steeple gun, you know, the swamp, you. Get down in your line.
Where'd you go?
Mr. Bricks, what is a victim? What is a victim? What is revenge? Was she a victim to live? Was I too late to stop this soon enough? They'll be the victim. I will find those motherfuckers. I need her. You're standing in my way.
All right, Mr. Briggs. Saturday, 11 a.m. He looks like he wakes up. All right, so...
You like him, Curly? You want to date him? You can do that. That can be arranged.
He's got something on his face, though. Is that a mole? Or?
That is a tattoo. Mr. Briggs has a real tattoos.
Wow.
Wow.
Quite an amazing guy.
All right, and Richard.
Yes, Curly.
Your film, Atom, the Amazing Zombie. Now,
yes.
It is, the way you have it here is, it's the first zombie movie not to feature any zombies.
That is correct, Curly. It is the first zombie movie not to feature any zombies.
Like a Jess Franco movie.
Well, you have to see the movie to figure that one out. It's got bowling. It's got a cameo by Mr. Lloyd Kaufman here, and Mr. Zach Bynes, the cameraman, me and him. And this is our very first feature film. We came off of movies such as Poultrygeist, Night of the Chicken Dead here with Lloyd Kaufman. We've learned everything we learned everything we needed to know about filmmaking from this hideously filmed creature of superhuman size and strength, the Toxic Avenger over here. And we just got some money together, made a little movie, and yeah, I think we have the trailer here for Atom, the Amazing Zombie Killer. Check it out.
You wouldn't touch that dial and change the channel and leave me, Oriona, the Twilight Temptress of Terror all alone now, would you?
No, everybody's turned into zombies. You better find a place to hide before they get you.
What are you off in your own world again?
Come on, Adam, get your head in the game.
Yeah, Adam. Dario from the Slashers is up next, and he's one rough customer.
Let's rock and roll. Adam's the best bowler in the league. Better than his grandfather in his prime.
You gotta rise above the others. You can't be some kind of automaton zombie idiot in this day and age.
Too bad old Gramps just ended up in the gutter.
Hey, don't talk about my Gramps that way.
Almost forgot what it was like not to be sponsored by Ernie Weiss's used car emporium.
Ernie Weiss, half the price and twice the price.
Look at the car.
Top of the morning to you, ladies. You're all looking fine today. Who's your friend there?
I'm Emily. She's Adam's girlfriend.
How did a loser like that end up with such a fine woman like yourself?
You got a thing for fucking girls at the graveyard?
Better than my mom's basement.
It's only a matter of time before I become one of them. Mindless, flesh-eating zombie.
You did not listen, brothers and sisters. You did not have Jesus in your hearts. And now you see, Satan himself has sent demons to take over this hell world.
It is up to me, as a citizen of planet Earth, to kill the Walking Dead!
Hey, there's Adam. Hey, wait a minute. Who are you guys? What? Whoa.
Hey, Adam! Hey, Adam! Don't give up the fight for a truly 300 bowling game!
All right, Adam.
And there's that.
All right, so tell us about your film's plural.
Well, just like the other filmmaker right here, I was very inspired by one Lloyd Kaufman. I actually brought a present for Lloyd. Wow. This is a painting of your fetus monster, sir.
That's awesome.
Because I figured you had a bunch of Toxic Avenger stuff, but this is a monster.
Thank you.
I
That is
enjoyed a lot.
beautiful. Thank you so much. This is much better than an Oscar, let me tell you. This is a Peter. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
The fetus monster. Ooh,
thank you so much.
Yeah. You got a feety.
And you'll be happy to know that the penis monster is going to have a fairly significant part in the return to Newcomb High filming this summer.
Ooh.
All right.
Thank you very much. It's really nice of you.
Penis monster. Well, Nazi Apocalypse, basically, I came up with the idea a couple years back. I wrote it into a zine, and then I basically went around and was like, hey, I want to make a movie. And everybody was kind of like, you know, people go to school for that, and yeah, you know. So everybody was really kind of wishy-washy on it, but 2 films later, you know, we came out with our coup de grace, Scum Quixote, which we'll also be playing. But I believe the trailer we have is for Nazi Apocalypse.
Take over.
And up next, we've got the one and only Mike Emanuel. We'd actually met like a year ago.
Yeah.
We taught a class together, together with Darren Lynn Bozeman, the guy responsible for what?
It's Darren.
You heard me mention it. Who did what did Darren?
Saw 2, 3.
Yeah, Saw 2, 3, and 4, and The Devil's Carnival, and Repo, Genetic Opera. So we were all able to meet with him and teach this class, and it was pretty cool. This guy knows his stuff, and I think it shows in this movie we're going to be showing, Scary or Die. Do we have the trailer for that?
1, 2, 3! Because you're mine. Stop the things you do. I ain't lying. I love you. I love you anyhow. I don't care if you don't want me. I'm yours right now. I put the spell on you.
Scary or Die. Tomorrow at 2:30. Now what's coolish? Can you show the poster? Who is that in the poster?
That's Corbin Bleu. He's one of the kids from High School Musical. This is his first horror movie. And yeah, that's him in the makeup.
Corbin Bleu's moved beyond
it's his first
singing in high schools.
Yeah, and he did this, and then he's got another movie coming out, Nurse 3D. But I've known him since he was a little kid, and wrote a big portion of this for him. And yeah, it started out as a camera test that we just kind of kept spinning and spinning and spinning, and we were just testing light levels with DSLR cameras, and kind of crafted a horror anthology set around a website, and a person surfing a horror website, kind of like Funny or Die. So, yeah, come tomorrow and see it. Pretty cool. And it'll be out on DVD and limited theatrical release around Halloween.
All right, and
may I ask a question?
Yeah,
Who was distributing?
Phase 4.
Cool.
Phase 4.
Phase 4? What?
Phase.
Oh, Phase 4.
Phase 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now the music. Song sounded a bit
that
familiar.
music is only cleared for festivals.
The music for festivals. So what does Phase 4 do when the music comes on?
There's another trailer for that they're using for.
Oh, it's not in the movie.
No, this song I put a song is not in the movie. No.
Ah, okay, good. Very good.
Yeah, but I mean the movie's scored by Chris Young, who did The Grudge, and scored a portion of it. And,
it looks great. It looks terrific.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's I'm real proud of it.
Well,
and
congratulations.
thank you. I got a lot of people that work in the business at a real high level. I'm friends with them, and so they all kind of rallied around. We did this movie. We did it for no money.
Richard and I have worked in the business at a real high level too.
Yeah.
When he got me to act in that movie, I think.
But the thing was,
see what Lloyd did there?
I love
I got to
what Lloyd inferred.
The thing is if you don't have a lot of money, and if there's any filmmakers out there, that shouldn't keep you from making a movie, because you have to figure your way out of problems creatively.
Are there any books that could help you, Curly Temple?
I heard there was.
I think there's a book called Direct Your Own Damn Movie. That
didn't you write that?
I seem to remember writing like 90% of it, along with somebody else. But we have that book available at the Troma booth, so you should come by. Lloyd will see us at the Troma booth, and I'll sign 90% of it.
Is Richard? What's that?
I said he'd leave the last A off of his name.
Richard, is your movie available? Are you selling your film?
I am not selling it. It's just playing the festivals right now. So,
and
this is the only second screening of my movie, by the way. It's the second. It's really not been shown anywhere. So, Curly's very brave. Curly's very brave to show it.
Yes. Tim McClellan with Fugue State, which we don't have a trailer for, but if you were able to pick up one of the posters, you could get Tim to sign it, and everybody should have gotten a Fugue State poster and a Scary or Die poster. If you didn't, come by the booth. We've got plenty there, and they'll be more than happy to see it.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Does the booth, your booth, have a location number? I don't know how to find anything. Not that I care, that you care about me, but somebody else.
It's directly between the two restrooms in the main convention center.
There are many restrooms. I know every one of them. Is there a number?
We're right next to each other, booth 425 and 524. Right? Yeah.
So that should be like aisles 4 and 5.
It's toward it's back left.
Or 325 and 424.
So around aisle 4.
325 and 424 you can find us, yes.
Way in the back.
Way in the back.
And I would like to correct myself. I don't have copies of my movies for sale, but I have this amazing Atom the Amazing Zombie Killer t-shirt we made up just for this festival. So those would be available for you for purchase of only $1 million.
And when does Fugue State play, Tim?
Fugue State, I believe, is playing Sunday at 2:45.
Yes.
And it is
You got
now
that right.
available at Amazon.com. So please purchase it through Amazon.com and give me a really nice review.
Yeah, if you could do one thing, please, if you buy it through Amazon, write up a review, because so many people, well, we know how it is, everybody bases their purchasing, you know, off of the reviews that they see on Amazon.
I don't even
right
think
now,
you need
for
to
better
buy
or worse.
it. I think you can just go there and review it if you see, for instance, if you see it on Sunday or if you've seen it already.
Or just pretend you've seen it and write a stellar
say
review.
it's the greatest movie ever, 5 stars, greatest thing I've ever seen. That would be awesome. And
that would drive away your customer base.
oh, you think? I'm not worried about that.
In that case, Adam the Amazing Zombie Killer on IMDb as well.
So do we have any questions from the audience regarding film, filmmaking, trauma dance?
We're here.
Dating advice. Is anybody doing the speed dating? Awesome.
Let's just skip it. I think Zach here and you right there.
You guys got 30 seconds. Go.
Skip it.
By the way, there is a New Mexico movie being shown here called Clown Camp Massacre by Philip Begun, and anyway, it's what. Anybody know when that is? It's really good. I've seen it, and it is a wonderful.
It's on the table for sale, for sure.
Yeah, made right here in Albuquerque.
What's that? 4 o'clock today.
4 o'clock today. Oh, Clown Camp Massacre. It's a good one. Where did Tim go? I guess he went to see Clown Camp Massacre. Where did you go, Tim?
I don't know.
Oh, I guess he go.
Well, I've got questions. So did anybody on this panel go to film school or receive like formal training through an educational institution?
Yes.
Which film school?
It's called the Colorado Film School.
And what did you think of it?
Well, it was very pretentious, a little more talking about making movies instead of actually making movies. I went on to troma.com, as I usually do. I saw they were looking for crew for a little movie called Poultrygeist Night of the Chicken Dead, so me and my buddy here and partner in crime just dropped out of film school. We completely just said, forget this, and we went and lived in an abandoned church in Buffalo, New York, and ate cheese sandwiches, defecated in paper bags, all for the sake of art, and made a little movie called Poultrygeist Night of the Chicken Dead for Mr. Lloyd Kaufman. And yeah, it was a lot better training than film school could ever do.
Which incidentally is the best trauma movie ever made.
It really is. It really is. And it really is. And it was an honor to work on it. And hopefully, you know, work on the next trauma movie.
Richard and Zach appear in Poultrygeist
and we're
in the Chicken Dead quite a number of times, and we're very much involved in the creative side of it.
And not to bash film school or anything, because it's for some people, but what would you know, if somebody came up to you and said, hey, I'm thinking of going to film school, what would the first piece of advice be?
I say for a technical aspect, you should definitely go to film school because film school definitely teaches you technical things like how to, load cameras, how to set up lighting gear. I mean, but they're not going to teach you ideas. So if you want to go to film school learning, thinking you're going to get ideas, that's not how it works. You got to have the ideas up here.
Also, these guys' short movies are amazing. You can find Richard Taylor and Bizjack
Flimko, actually.
Bizjack Flimko, whatever it is.
Bizjack Flimko.
Terrific. And Troma puts something up online, gets like 5 views. They put it up, they get a kabillion views. It's incredible. You should see what they do. It's really good.
And a few of my shorts are actually available on Troma Dance Volume 5. The Misled Romance of Cannibal Girl and Incest Boy, Unicorn, and My Bloody Valentine.
Very good film. What was the question?
Do you have any advice for aspiring scriptwriters, filmmakers, or anything that does not involve defecating in paper bags in an abandoned church?
But that's the best part.
Well, I guess just keep doing it every day.
Write what you know.
And write what you know.
And when you start out, and try not to follow rules.
But a day you let go by is the day that you will never get back. So just every day, just write something, even if it's a little paragraph.
Yeah, you got to do stuff. If you talk to the comic book artists, they're always drawing. Right?
Yeah.
You talk to writers, they're always writing. If you want to make film, just grab a camera and start making movies, no matter what it is. 30 seconds long is something that's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just start doing.
I have my iPod. I have a little note thing, and I write things in it. I have song lyrics that I wrote in here, just because I had a little ditty in my head.
Are you offering to read some song lyrics?
Let's see here. It's.
Do you think YouTube's been a positive influence on the rise of independent filmmakers?
Well.
Or at least,
Well, your work gets lost in a sea of Rebecca Black and Yan Yan Cats or whatever the hell it is. So it hurts and it doesn't hurt, but I mean, for some people like me and Zach, I mean, you never heard of us, so I mean, it doesn't really hurt. So
I think it helps a lot.
It helps a lot. So I mean, it doesn't hurt at all. I mean,
Troma has
before there was no way you were getting your movies in front of anybody, unless they were your friends. Or
we've got a free movie channel on YouTube. Troma, we've got about 50 Troma movies there. They're all free. And what better way for an artist to have his or its art shown? It isn't all about money. It's about getting our movies seen, and that's what Troma Dance and Curly are all about.
Yes, not making any money.
Show the audience.
I think we've got a trailer now for Fugue State. Can we get that going?
Too sorry.
Are we ready?
Is that a possibility?
There's a disease going around. People are losing their minds.
We don't have a disease. You got it. Polynesian plague. I saw an angel.
Fugue State.
Nice.
And incidentally, those black bars aren't there in the movie. We're just trying to play it safe.
Curly, maybe can we talk about what cameras these guys use? Because the movies look much better than the 35mm that I've been using.
So yeah, let's go down the line here. Richard, what did you shoot?
Well, I shot mostly on the Sony XD cam. It's a high def. You shoot on P2 cards, so all your footage is on little cards. But I shot on a lot of cameras. We just got whatever camera we could get, really. So, but mostly on the XD cam. So there's a mixture of DV and HD too. So yeah.
One thing I can say in terms of cameras is I actually worked on a movie with Lloyd, a little independent film called Crank 2 High Voltage, featuring a cameo with Lloyd Kaufman here. And that movie was shot on little Vixia HF-10s. These like $800 cameras that they bought at Best Buy, and there was about like 30 of these things on the set at all the time. And one would break, they would just grab the next one.
There were only 28 when we left.
Yeah, we took quite a few. And the movie got released theatrically, and it looked great.
Lionsgate.
Yeah, the Lionsgate did it, and
who's the actor?
Jason Statham.
Who?
Jason
Yeah,
Statham.
big time actor and very good. Well, if you saw Crank 1, 2 was actually better.
Because of this guy.
No. But there was better.
But yeah, you know, so you don't have to worry, in my opinion, you know, shoot on whatever you've got. You know, the Chan-wook Park did a movie on his iPhone, so you know, you guys, the technology's at a point where you can just grab something off the shelf and start shooting with it. You know, I've heard so many people say, as soon as I get such and such camera, I'm going to make my movie, which is telling me they're never going to make their movie because they're just coming up with excuses not to make their movies. No matter what camera you have, you should just shoot with it. What did you shoot with?
Actually, our first movie, Nazi Apocalypse, was shot entirely with that camera right over there. And, you know, I just...
And what is the name of it? You should say what the name
is.
It's
a Sony DSLR, like HX or something like that.
It's a consumer camera.
Yeah, totally consumer, open to the market. I mean, you can just go down to Walmart and do it. We upgraded to a second camera on the latest film, which is basically just like the fancier version of that. But, I mean, as Curly was saying, man, I mean, if you want to be a filmmaker, just go out and do it, man. Buy, you know, whatever you can get, you know.
Of course, Troma has been able to pioneer the use of 35mm film and make it look like shitty consumer tape or digital camera work.
And incidentally, Troma has just released The Toxic Avenger on VHS. How cool is that? So VHS.
We're always ahead of the game. We always
one step ahead of the game.
Pioneers.
One of these days they're going to release it on Blu-ray.
We see into the future. Let's get sorry to interrupt.
Well, Mike, what did you shoot on?
We started shooting on 70s DSLR cameras, and like I was saying that before, it was basically just a camera test. I was writing for specific locations that had a lot of existing practical lights, because a big portion of the movie we shot without any lighting equipment. I wrote it around places that had, you know, good lights to kind of minimize on budgets and time and stuff. And then we moved to 5D. So 70s and 5Ds with prime lenses, and pretty much as pimped as you can pimp those little, you know, still cameras. But yeah, little tiny Canon 5Ds and 70s.
What would you suggest if you were going to make that movie and you wanted to guarantee that it would get onto, you know, HBO or one of those TV channels?
Well, it'll definitely, it'll be on Showtime. I'm sure we'll get a Showtime deal. And as you know, those outlets don't pay much money anymore.
But the 7D will be good enough? What was it, 7D, and then what was it?
It's a 5D.
5D, and those are made by
5D, yep.
Absolutely.
Those are Canon?
Yeah, and absolutely good enough.
They look like little, like just cameras. They don't...
If, and they project really well as well.
They look like still cameras, right?
Yeah, they look like still cameras, and the good thing about shooting with those is, especially if you're using, if you're not using real long lenses, is that you don't have to pull permits, because if you get someone comes and tries to bust you, you're just shooting stills. So we got away with, I mean, everything that we did on this movie, we did on the down.
What do you do about the lenses? Do you use Cook lenses? Do you
we use Zeiss lenses and other high-speed lenses, yeah.
And what about sound? Is there some way to make sure you have the finest of sound? I mean, sounded great.
Yeah, we had real good sound people that work with me. And
did you shoot sync sound on it?
Yes,
or did it go through the camera?
Yes, we did sync sound.
So you
can get, you can get the Showtime kind of sound with the 5D and all.
Oh, absolutely.
Cool.
And then,
well, congratulations.
We did a 5-1 mix on a stage, and yeah.
And did your movie, was it, what did you say, $25 million budget?
It was under $50,000.
Wow, congratulations, that's great.
Yeah.
Yes. And Tim, what did you shoot Fugue State on?
Fugue State was shot with a Panasonic Mini DV, but...
so you shot on tape?
Yes, it was one of the last probably to ever be shot on tape. But, now I have a 60D DSLR, which is very similar to the 7D now, and I've been collecting the prime lenses for my next project. But then I went to a thrift store and I bought this, I found a VHS camcorder, and it actually works, and so I started playing with that, and I'm just like, wait a minute, I think I need to make my next movie with VHS. I mean, It's got a look to it you really can't get any other way.
Yeah, it's funny because I see all these people buying these expensive HD cameras, and the first thing they do is they try to make their footage look as shitty as possible. Deliberately, they're like, I want to make this look like worn out, 16 millimeter from the 1970s. I want it to look like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it's just funny because they got this perfect. Sometimes the image is almost too perfect.
Yeah.
It looks kind of weird. There's like this uncanny valley thing going on with some of these movies.
So if you have a DSLR and you're planning on shooting DSLR cinema, I highly recommend going on eBay and finding vintage glass to shoot through. If you want to have a distinctive look, it takes away that too crisp of a video look. And then there's all kinds of you have to buy adapters, of course, to make it work, but they're cheap. So.
And Lloyd, are you shooting the new the Return to Nukem High on 35 millimeter?
No, the Return to Nukem High will be on. I don't
HD.
know. It's got to be a good HD.
The red.
I know nothing about it, but I know nothing about movies anyway. So, but if you want to see a movie that has that retro look, which was shot on with a 5D and the 7D kind of cameras, Father's Day, a recent Troma production. The directors wanted it to look kind of 80s and like an old Troma movie. And they did succeed. It really looks great. I think you can see it on Hulu now, or it's on demand. It may play the Guild here. Is it going to play the Guild?
I might be able to book it at the Guild. Yeah,
it's been in about 100 movie theaters for about calendar houses, about a week.
Tell them why it's called Father's Day.
Pardon?
Why is it called Father's Day?
Father's Day is about priests and the ass fucking of fathers. Luckily, there are no children in the room, so I don't have to worry. Right, kids?
Hey, kids! Toxie's here! Meet Lloyd Kaufman and the Toxic Adventure!
I apologize. I'm sorry.
Nozo's in the bathroom if you want to go meet him.
I took a lot of acid in the 60s, children, and the old gray matter is not working. Nothing's working.
So do we have any more questions from the audience regarding films?
For Toxie, the Toxic Avenger.
I have a question for the audience. How many people here are filmmakers or want to be filmmakers?
Ooh, everybody. Pretty much everybody.
So you got to have some questions.
You got to have
questions. Even if it's
you guys just like, fuck it, we know it all.
Well, who's a big Troma fan? Everybody is a big Troma fan, obviously. Yeah. Woo. Awesome.
Even if it's something simple, everyone up on this panel that can offer something, and it's free, and it could be helpful down the road. So if there's anything.
Yeah, here's your chance to ask Lloyd Kaufman about making movies. So take advantage of that.
Anyway. I worked on Poltergeist.
Well, my wife used to work at the motion picture pharmacy in Hollywood, so if you want to know who's on what medication, you can ask me that question too. So. We have Barbara Carrera's Retin-A in our medicine cabinet.
I have a question. Well,
Yes.
It's kind of a statement. Since meeting Mr. Kaufman here last year, he's popped up in the in mainstream media quite a bit, and
thanks to Ace.
You bought a $2,000 mummy hand, right? On oddities.
The release of the sex tape.
That was good. That was good. I like that one.
Let him say what he
Oh, yeah, it's good.
and even like on the Howard Stern show, they talked about.
Howard Stern hates Troma. They talked about Troma?
Yeah.
He hates us. He's so jealous that we actually care about our art. All he cares about is money. That's it. He never talks about Troma.
Well, it was Lemmy Kilmister he was on, and
Lemmy
he said that they asked him about filmmaking with you, and he said it's just a lot of waiting around with a bottle, but he said he really enjoyed working with Tromaville.
Yeah, Lemmy's cool. He gets it, and Lemmy's never charged anything other than a bottle of now it's Maker's Mark. It used to be Jack Daniels, and he wants to have 2 Tromettes who are very lovely young non-males with small clothing and large brains. Just to chat with him because he's bored. It is a lot of sitting around and waiting, and he's nice enough to do it. He's the best. If you go on YouTube, you can see a little tribute that we did. There was a tribute to Lemmy up in the North by Northwest Music Festival, and they ran Romeo and Juliet, in which Lemmy is featured, and we did a 10-minute tribute to Lemmy from Troma. It's rather amusing. It's on YouTube.
All right.
Who saw Lloyd on Oddities? Anybody? Did anybody watch Oddities?
Yeah.
It's a really cool show. And that was a good episode.
Yeah, a lot of people. I've been on those Tonight Show type, the late night talk shows. Nobody ever sees me, but Oddities was amazing. How many people see that show? It's incredible. Or it may be
Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming.
It may be that the Troma people, see, Oddities and Troma may have more of a mutual audience.
Any more questions? At all.
Whereabouts do you guys usually shoot?
Who's that directed to specifically?
Any of you guys?
Anybody?
Sorry.
I've shot about 2 blocks from here in an alleyway.
Yeah, well, the cool thing about Albuquerque is you don't really need to get permits. LA is a permit-heavy place. If they see you with a camera,
Very difficult.
with a camera like that, and you're on a street corner shooting something, the cops could pull up and be like, "Where's your permit?" And then they'll nail your ass right then and there.
That's because they don't want to be caught on film.
Yeah.
Well, there are multiple permits too. If you film in Beverly Hills, you've got to get an LA permit and a Beverly Hills permit. It's really awful.
But the cool thing about Albuquerque is you could just kind of go out guerrilla style and shoot wherever the hell you want, And it's good to get permission, if you're shooting on somebody's property, you have to get permission from them. But for the most part, just are you based out of Albuquerque?
I actually just moved here like a week and a half ago.
Awesome. Welcome.
Cool. Well, welcome to Albuquerque. And where do you shoot, Mike?
For this one, I've done a bunch of movies, but for this movie, because we really didn't have any budget, we were just kind of like dining and dashing anywhere we could. We would shoot someplace, like I had this whole elaborate thing we were going to shoot underneath the 6th Street Bridge in downtown LA, there's a lot of lights on the bridge and it kind of pours down. It's really creepy and it's just a really cool location. And we got thrown out of there, I literally had 12 hours of work there. And we would go there like one night and we'd shoot for an hour and then somebody would throw us out and then we would go back a couple nights later and shoot for an hour and somebody would throw us out. And I got to know the cop that kept showing up there and it turned out he lived in the town that I live in. So the following week I met him at a breakfast place and I bought him breakfast and we talked about it and then he let us go back there. So we filmed for the next 4 days there and he let us slide. So yeah, so I mean it's, we beg, borrow, and steal and shoot wherever you can get away with it. It's difficult in Los Angeles. I live in Ventura County, which is just outside of LA County. It's a little bit easier there, but LA County's a bitch.
Richard?
I live in Denver, Colorado. My movie takes place in a bowling alley, I guess, if you saw in the trailer. It was tough to get a bowling alley. Not so much to get it, but to keep it, because they kept going out of business. I would film in one, and then it would go out of business, and then I'd have to find another and make it look like the last one. And then that happened at least 4 times in my production. So the one bowling alley in my movie is actually 4 bowling alleys. Well, 5 actually, because I had to get 1 pickup shot. So 5 bowling alleys are actually 1 bowling alley because they kept going out of business. And it's really sad, but I mean, and I don't want to feel like I actually put them out of business or anything, but I kind of feel bad about the bowling alleys, but I got permission. I mean, I do guerrilla film, though. I mean, I have no problem going out with a camera like that and just getting a quick shot and running. Well, I have a question for Lloyd now. Did you get permission to have naked Yani Sharon run around Times Square naked in Times Square?
We made a movie called Terra Firma, in which a young lad with a very small penis must run around Times Square, the crossroads of the world, totally naked. And our production manager, unfortunately, was lazy and did not work with the police. He did get a permit, but on the permit he put "man walks through Times Square," which was not quite telling the truth. So we only got 1 take, I'm afraid. But I talk about a lot of these issues in my various books. Make Your Own Damn Movie, Direct, Produce, Sell Your Own Damn Movie, which has an introduction by Mr. Stan Lee, by the way. Speaking of bowling alleys, the Troma dance from which Curly's Troma dance was birthed, which is now in its 13th year and has shown these guys' earlier films.
Yes.
That takes place in a bowling alley now. The actual film, the actual projection of the movies takes place in this giant bowling alley in Asbury Park, New Jersey, and it's terrific. They have about half the bowling alley is made into a theater and nightclub, and the other half is bowling. So we were able, of course, people did not bowl during the showing of the movies.
It's cool. It's cool. Where did you shoot? Well, with the first film, you know, we actually filmed most of it. I mean, our backyard's a lot. We got cars and trash and junk and like a bunch of industrial stuff. So we mostly filmed there, and then the rest just alleys, guerrilla around town. With the second film, I mean, we were literally any place that we saw, we were like, okay, we can film there. I don't see any cameras. Let's do it. And we'd still, most of the time, you know, I remember the first scene we had two lesbians making out. They made out on the intercom of where we were filming, so next thing you know, we get a security guard, you know, coming out like, what the hell are you doing? You can't be here, go out. You know, but I mean, Albuquerque's really good about that, is that, you know, you can pretty much film anywhere in this town, and as long, I think they even have it on the city website, it says that as long as you just don't cause a disturbance, it's perfectly legal, so.
And we did get the showing to the Center for Peace and Justice that.
Indeed. Oh, yeah.
New York State, by the way, lets you film. They will help you find locations. They don't charge anything. And
who would you talk to in New York?
Well, I like to talk. Well, I'm not allowed to talk to the New York Film Commissioner because she happens to be my wife, so she has to recuse herself from anything to do with troma. But it is a great state in which to film, and New York City actually gives you free police and permits as long as you have insurance. I talk a lot about location filming because I think if you have in my books, because I believe the location becomes a character in the film. And if you've seen movies like Rocky or Saturday Night Fever, you can imagine what would they be like if they weren't shot on those great locations in Philadelphia or
who was responsible for those locations in Rocky and Saturday Night Fever?
There was a very handsome young gay guy, but I don't remember his name. One of the early gay proponents of a single-sex marriage. That's
what Lloyd was saying about the locations, one thing to consider is, you know, you can get a lot of production value if you're also a writer and a director and a producer. You can get a lot of production value by writing locations that you can get. And so, you know, and make a movie that's not necessarily a big movie look a lot bigger, and it's something that we try to do all the time with Scary or Die, is that was one of our kind of game plans, and the target we tried to hit all the time was make the movie look a lot bigger than it really is. And you can do that if you're writing it yourself and write big kind of open expanses and stuff like that.
By the way, Mike, if I may add, children, pay attention now. If you have an uncle, for example, who owns some kind of big giraffe farm, write it into the movie. For sure. And wow, what great production value you will have. And almost every troma movie I've directed, that has happened. Somebody says, hey, I've got this big mud flats. You want to jump a car in there? And okay, set it up. And if you see Toxic Avenger Part 3, there's lots of cars going into mud flats and diving in, you know, jumping in or going off ramps. That was all because some guy called us. Didn't cost a penny. Isn't that interesting, children?
You just have to be creative with your use.
Thanks for coming, by the way. Sorry about the bad language. I really didn't see you. I apologize. If my wife were here, I would be dead. My wife, the New York Film Commissioner, would kill me. Yes.
Well, we shot a movie called The Stink of Flesh, and at the very beginning, we needed a desolate. We needed Albuquerque to look like nobody lived in Albuquerque, so we just got up at 4 o'clock in the morning and went downtown and shot. And if you've seen the movie, the character, Matul, has like this giant hammer and nails and stuff. So business owners were coming out. Security was calling these business owners, saying there was some guy with a giant hammer running around downtown at 4 o'clock in the morning. So we had like 4 business owners show up and ask us what the hell we were doing. But once they knew it was, they were cool with it. But even if you have permission...
The number 5. Thank you. The number 5. Let's hear for the number 5. Thank you.
But even if you have permission, stuff could happen. For The Stink of Flesh, we shot in an old abandoned building, and there was a zombie attack outside of the building. This girl was screaming, and sure enough, the cops showed up and said, we got reports that there was a woman in a building with all these freaks surrounding it, yelling, and she was screaming. So the cops showed up. We had to hide all the drugs and pay off the cops. But It worked out well. Are there any parting words of wisdom or any last questions? You've got limited opportunity here to ask a question. You in the green.
I'd like to ask Lloyd. I've worked with a lot of actors and actresses who later became real famous, and I was wondering, one, if you had one that was a favorite to work with, and two, if you had one that you were like, man, I'm glad I covered that person in Gore when I had the chance.
You know, it's difficult to say. I think the ones I had the most fun with were Jason Yashanin and Kate Graham, who are in Poultrygeist. They were, I'm sure they'll be the next Trey Parker and Matt Stone or whatever, or Vincent D'Onofrio, who started in our movies. But the point is, they are smart, and you give them. I would have an idea that I thought would be funny, an improvised idea, and but I couldn't quite articulate it. They'd immediately figure it out, and a lot of the funniest stuff in Poultrygeist, Night of the Chicken Dead, is stuff that they came up with on, I knew there was a joke, I just couldn't figure out what it was, and they did. They're great, and I think that's really what the smart actors, I think, are the ones that are the most interesting. Richard and Zach, of course, are not in that group, but no, I'm kidding. They are, and they are great, and they're very good. They do everything.
I'm applauding for that joke, by the way. You hear him in the other room.
I think the difference between my day when I was coming along and Mike and Tim and Zach, Charles. These guys all multitask. They write music, they act, they're in the movie. James Gunn is another guy. He and I did Romeo and Juliet. He directs, he writes music, he makes video games, he acts, which when I was coming out in, well, that was more recently, but when I was starting movies, I was just directing movies, and sort of writing, and I would never have thought about the music or the acting side. It's very interesting. And Stink of Flesh is great, by the way.
But you did sing songs in Poultrygeist, though. You did sing songs.
But that was not in my early days. No,
well,
that's true, guys.
What about Battles of Lily Turn? You didn't sing a song in Battles of Lily Turn?
Well, yeah, I did music for that, but then I stopped. You're right, but it wasn't.
I know more about you than you do.
Yeah, but I couldn't play the guitar. I couldn't do that kind of stuff. Which you can.
I can play chording words of wisdom.
Anyway, back to the Stink of Flesh. It's a great movie.
Stink of Flesh. Yes.
Where can we get it, Curly?
Stink of Flesh is actually out of print in the United States, but you can still find it on Amazon, eBay.
Where can we get Poultrygeist? Who cares about Stink of Flesh? Where can we get Poultrygeist?
Actually, Stink of Flesh was just released in 3D in the UK, so you can get the DVD on 3D, and just sold Ink to Dill for distribution in Japan. So this tiny little movie that we made for $3 grand here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, still lives on around the world. I've had friends bring me bootleg copies from Thailand of the Stink of Flesh.
Didn't it beat King Kong?
Yeah, it was like more popular than King Kong when it came out, which is really bizarre when you think about it. But yeah, it was a fun movie. And if you see Scott Phillips, the writer-director of Stink of Flesh, you got to ask him, so when are you going to do the sequel, Stink of Flesh? Curly said there's going to be a sequel.
Are there any other Curly movies here that one can purchase?
Yes, Gimme Skelter, Slumber Party Slaughterhouse. I'm in Fuchs.
Where?
At our booth, which I can't remember the number. It's in between the two restaurants.
Booth 325.
325. Are any parting words of wisdom that we have for potential filmmakers?
Come over and visit us at the booth. Look for the Fuchs State posters, which are all over it. And then Lloyd is going to be right next to us. So come say hi to all of us.
Yes, please come say hi.
If we have no more parting words, we're going to be getting out of here. Let's hear it for Lloyd Kaufman and all the filmmakers of Troma Dance, New Mexico.
Troma Dance, Curly.
Thank you. Convention program. Please come check out the screenings. They're all great movies. And they're all feature-length films, which is the first time we've had nothing but feature-length films at Troma Dance, New Mexico. So please come check them out. They're all really good. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you, Curly. Thank you, Albuquerque.